Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Enough Talk L5R video podcast. This is our sort of top 8 tournament of champions. I am the man who has not one, not two, but 25 seasons of Cops on DVD, but only the first 25. I don't like 26 and 27 when they moved from Fox to FX. I think they really jumped the shark. I'm Paul Ashman, and I am joined by the man who didn't even know they had Oscar nominations. He completely missed all of his chance for sort of, to be outraged and indignant at the lack of the Lego Movie receiving an animated Oscar nomination. That's Jesse Grabowski.
I actually really enjoyed the Lego Movie.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Been
Everyone
meaning
loves
to
Chris Pratt. Is that the guy's name?
Uh,
The Guardians of the Galaxy guy.
yes.
Yeah, he was the voice of the main character in that. Everybody likes him. He's very affable fellow. And when he's being written by Joss Whedon, all the more better. Or, a Joss Whedon clone.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. But so, I did not see the Lego Movie, nor have I seen Big Hero 6 or any of the animated films. My question to you is, have you seen the Lego Movie and all the other nominees? Did you see How to Train Your Dragon 2?
I have to say, I skipped How to Train Your Dragon 2. In fact, I skipped How to Train Your Dragon 1, so there wasn't a lot of hope for that one. Ever since they switched the Best Picture nominations from five nominations to 10 nominations, I feel that the Oscars has really lost all relevance.
Only 8 nominations this year. Do you feel like there were some other great films out there that should have been nominated, like, I don't know, The Edge of Tomorrow?
I loved The Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know if it was Oscar nomination worthy.
They could have gotten in some technical awards, but
yeah. But
my thing is, if people complain about Lego Movie, I feel like if you're going to complain that the Lego Movie is going to be in, then you have to kick something else out. You have to say, like, which of these are, and then it's like, well, I didn't see any of the other ones. Well, how do you formulate your opinion? It's just bizarre thing. It's like with the Selma. It's like, okay, you think David Oyelowo should be nominated for, like, which of those actors are you kicking out? And they say, well, I haven't seen Boyhood. I haven't seen American Psycho. Well, then you can't kick them out. It's not fair.
Well, they really like Legos, man. They're grown men. They're teaching tools, Dad. They're not toys.
That's right. Okay. I got nothing. I love Legos, so you're not gonna hear me. I like the Star Wars Legos. I like that Lego became a bit more creative. I like that they moved away from the rigid block nature and said, like, let's have a little fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, though the Lego brand has been growing a lot recently. I liked the games. My old roommate, my California roommate, was a big time into all those Lego games for Xbox and stuff. You can play them multiplayer. They're a lot of fun. They just crank one out every 6 weeks or something. It's total shovelware, but yeah, Legos, rock on. Duplos, those were my jam when I was a kid.
Yeah, Duplos. Good. Everyone loves Duplos. I'm much more of a Lincoln Log man myself. I'll be honest. I was always like, Duplos, fuck that. I'm gonna go play my Lincoln Log.
Did you have an Erector set? I had an Erector set.
I had an Erector set, but it was a little bit too much actual work. So it helped me as a young child identify my laziness and sort of disregard physical work. It's like, what is it?
They have these diagrams. What I remember about the Erector set most vividly is the diagrams they give you. Like, yeah, you can build a satellite dish, and it was just this mismatch of lines and screws and bolts. And if you deciphered those, man, I think that they sent you a scholarship for engineering school in the mail.
That's right. Congratulate. It was all like a clever way to weed out some of the smartest people, and it turns out we're not any of them.
It's tough, man. It's tough to wake up to that realization,
Yep.
All right, so what are we doing today? Your deck looks interesting. You start.
Okay, so this was supposed to be Dragon Honor, because that's what we wrote we were going to play in our tournament, but I sort of called an audible on saving Dragon Honor for maybe our strict top 8 to come eventually, because I wanted to play Enlightenment, and I can't really do that in strict, or at least the way this deck is configured, because I lose my big evil Flesh Eater guy here. And because I had to play the Dragon deck in the 8th seed, and I didn't want to play Dragon Honor. But outside of my personal predilections and the fact that it was sort of a rotating slot for any given brew, There's something really interesting about Enlightenment. I feel like this is a deck that's better than it's been given credit for pretty much since the start of Ivory. It attacks the format in a really interesting way, and it does have these awkward games and matchups where it sort of loses to itself and its bad draws. But I've chalked up a lot of wins with Enlightenment. I feel like it's something that more players could be going to if they're looking for that sort of special snowflake dark horse deck that can really hang with anything. It doesn't have any real bad matchups. It just has sort of awkward draws and play situations. They get out Ivory Natoshi in the Scorpion Stronghold, and then they're double naming 2 cards, and it becomes very hard to maybe drop a ring you want to play or something like that. But the rings themselves are all very, very playable, assuming you're, playing Dragon. Like, let's not go crazy and pretend you can play Enlightenment out of anything other than Dragon, but if you get to start with one of those rings, there's a lot going on here. So here's your gold. It's sort of informed by the fact that your Enlightenment deck with the 3 gold starting gold production. So you've got Remote Temple to get rings because that's what you need. If you got it from the yard, Remote Temple would probably let you play without the Sente, but they don't. So I pay 3 because at the end of the day I want to get rings as cheaply and easily as possible. I room get you the favor to help with air. Family Library is there to flush back one of my sort of duelist people that I absolutely need, and then Swana Dojos and Gold Mines because they're as efficient as your gold can get, and then the card draw holdings. The only thing that's different here is there's 2 counting houses as opposed to the sort of default one. That's in place of an Oracle of Void. A 6 gold cost holding that doesn't do anything for you right away. It's really tough to justify when you start at 3 gold. If you wanted to cut something to get Oracle in, it would probably be one of these 1 gold cost holdings. Events, Dark Audience and Wisdom Gain, they get you cards that will do things for you. There's a shocking number of items in the deck, which we'll get to. Your unique guys here, these are your 2, like, hey, I really want to win a duel to play fire, and these guys are very good at doing that. Want to, because hooray, 39 card Dynasty deck. And then we've got the Kenseis, and over here is a Kensei as well. 9 Kenseis or 8 Kenseis to let you do stuff within Stillness. And then these guys, he's a duelist Kensei, and they also have built-in trigger duels, which is helpful. Because you got to win a duel. The way I'm set up, I'm starting water. That's what I found to be the best choice. And then just cheap guys, and guy who bows to give you a card. So that's my Dynasty, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's always tricky trying to play with 3 starting gold, especially in a faction not built to start with 3 starting gold. But you don't really need a lot of personalities in play for Enlightenment, so you've got that. Go for it. The Fate deck, I remind people I'll be starting with water. I'll put that into play here. That's what I start with. And then we've got cards for the favor, cards to duel, cards to sort of manipulate our Fate deck. In Stillness is the glue that holds everything together. So Nakaru is the easiest way, like Nakaru with a come one at a time, or even Way of the Dragon. Nakaru is the easiest way to play fire. But the other easiest way to play fire is to do the Dotanuki combo. Where is it? Ooh. Use the Dotanuki on a guy. I wish it was one-handed, but he's clearly using 2 hands in the art, so he must be 2-handed. And then how do you force interaction to play Earth? We have multiple copies of Today We Die, and that's what we have right now. There is the Priestly Feuds, but I don't bother because it's just too much. If I run into a Scorpion deck that's, they're all playing Sire, but if they decide to not buy Sire or something like that, or it's an all Shugenja deck that happens to decide to never attack me, life can get pretty tricky. But you're playing Enlightenment, and so you just have to accept that that's this really bizarre, weird corner case scenario that can happen, and don't worry about it too much because you're playing Enlightenment. On or out or something.
There you go. Yeah, I like starting water better. I think that the decks that are starting fire usually end up just being bad military decks.
Right, so you start fire because dueling is a pain. It's this weird thing you have to worry about. It's a hassle. With Nakaru, it's not really a hassle, but otherwise it's a problem. You have to really agonize about it, especially if you're running. The easiest way to get out air is to play summons, which is a one. Come one at a time is a one. You end up with these weird focus pools and drills, and if they're not doing the instillness stuff, and even if they are, it can be a hassle. So I definitely understand and appreciate the impulse to start fire, but it's too much to be able to the terrain thing. Just I found it to be too troublesome
I
for
agree.
what.
Having to do all that dancing and then also win the battle.
Plus, playing come one helps me just sometimes save provinces, which is really important for Earth.
For sure. So on my side, I'm playing Crane Scouts. This is probably the best deck. I mean, it's maybe not this specific build, but something like this has been the best deck for most of Ivory. I'd say. I don't think you'd disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I think it's yes, and I think it's pretty clear. I don't know if anybody would disagree. There's a little bit of like unicorn this or lion that, but it's certainly a one of the best decks from the start till now.
And I think it's been going by the power of its versatility. Like the backbone of the deck is Family Dojo plus a lot of these cheap efficient followers like New Cav Tactics, Enslaved Jin, Family Sensei Merchant Guard, all the 2 for 3s. And I'm playing Colonial Conscripts too. So we're running about 12 followers, 12 plus the new caps, like 15 followers plus the Family Dojo. So you just generate a lot of force. And Crane has a really wide personality selection. They've got really good expensive guys, they've got really good cheap guys, and you'll see different builds of the deck. I'm trying to straddle the line a little bit here. When you play the expensive guys like the Tamitaka XP, Kinta, Yurijo, these sorts of guys, it opens up the ability to play inspired leadership, which I think is the real deal. All right, I just got booted from the game, so